demons, I tell ya! Demons! The Imagine Dragons song! The demons have been exorcised! Say it with me, Montreal! Ale, ale, ale! However the song goes, oh my goodness, okay, so my TV just changed from Montreal, Detroit to Toronto, Pittsburgh. I didn't realize the Penguins were slaughtering the Leafs. That's kind of whack, eh? Either way, though, let's talk about today's Montreal and Detroit Red Wings game. Heading into tonight's contest, I was kind of thinking to myself, this is a good opportunity to get a video out there. Mostly because I cover both the Wings and the Habs on this channel. If the Habs lose, it's another one in the L column. It's a big deal, and also I got the Red Wings fanbase hopping on board because, hey, they got themselves another win. But if the Canadiens end up winning tonight's game, which they did with a score of 6-1, then that streak is broken. We have ourselves some conversations to go about the Red Wings and why this happened, and what Montreal did in order to get their luck back on their side. And I'll say this right here. Even though I don't want to make it seem like, oh, luck was the factor, luck is why the Canadiens won. The Habs had not been lucky at all in the previous 5 games they have played. They got a lot more puck luck here today, but just in general, they were the better team. In totality, I guess you could say, because this game actually started off pretty hot for the Red Wings. You had yourselves a few really good opportunities for Adam Ernie, first and foremost. He came flying right out of the gate with a breakaway chance that was stopped. He also had himself a post early on, too. But early on in the game, it was mostly just back and forth, these two teams feeling each other out. The demons I was talking about, Montreal has lost so many games to Detroit the past few years. It's kind of crazy taking a look at their overall record against this team. At least in the past few years. In 2020, the Red Wings were undefeated against Montreal despite being the worst team in the league. So that's kind of where that meme started out. The Montreal Canadiens had not beaten the Red Wings in 2 years or something like that. And the Red Wings got off to a really hot start with Dylan Larkin getting on the score sheet first. This one was on the power play, and it's Moritz Seider who throws it over to Larkin, who walks right in and he snipes it over the glove of Jake Allen. And it was a quick early goal out there. It came 5 minutes into the hockey game, so a lot of Canadiens fans were starting to freak out. Okay, we just gave up a goal, home ice, 5 minutes in, we're 0-5-0. We're gonna lose again to Detroit this time. They're going to add to their 2-year-long win streak against us. And of course it has to be Dylan Larkin who puts in that game-winning goal, because the Habs are not going to score anything. But you know what? That pessimism only gets you so far, because the Montreal Canadiens actually started to come alive a little bit after this. They were talking about it on the broadcast, how the Canadiens will usually give themselves a lot more of a difficult time when they give up a goal early, because they start to kind of collapse under the pressure and they're not really able to match it. Hey, guess what? You have yourselves a few good opportunities for the Canadiens right away. Cole Caulfield has a wide-open net, but it gets blocked by Sam Gagner. A little bit more zone time here and there, and all of a sudden, guess what? It's Ben Chiarot who finds the puck on the left side. He comes in towards the goal, he shoots it, and he scores it. It's a mad, scrambly of a play where the Red Wings are all just kind of trying to scramble back together to block the passing lanes. But hey, guess what? Ben Chiarot gets the Canadiens on the board. It's tied 1-1. And this is another one of those moments where Canadiens fans were starting to freak out. Not because they scored a goal, but because they scored a goal. And every time the Canadiens get those goals, we had seen them in the previous few games they had actually scored. As we said, the Canadiens would give themselves a difficult time. In the previous few games for Montreal, other teams would capitalize so heavily immediately after a Montreal goal by bouncing back and getting one of their own. It really just trapped the Canadiens in the previous few games they played, but in this one, they really were trying to go out there and shake it off, especially against this Detroit team that wasn't giving them any space. The Red Wings then get into penalty trouble. Lindstrom to the box for tripping, Danny DeKeyser to the box for tripping, Philip Zadina the high stick on Jeff Petrie. Some of these were questionable, like that Danny DeKeyser penalty was not really what I have in my mind's eye of a tripping penalty, but either way, the Canadiens get 2 power plays in a row, and the first one, they actually had a lot more movement than you're used to, so it was good to see that go on the way. Eventually, though, the Canadiens get themselves that Danny the Kaiser power play, and it's Mike Hoffman who goes out there and he just grips it and he rips it and he pots it in the back of the net. He's at the far face-off circle. Thomas Greiss is down. It looks like he's going to pass it, but no. A long-range snipe over there from Hoffman, and it's screened by Mark Stahl of all people. So an unfortunate play there for Stahl, who earlier in the shift was going up super high to try to block off Hoffman. It just didn't really work because Hoffman got the puck back. And all of a sudden, hey, the Canadiens have a lead. They only played with 2 minutes of a lead in the previous 5 games they had. Give it a few more minutes here, and the Canadiens hold on to that lead for the rest of the game, but not before getting a few more opportunities too. When Philip Zadina went to the box for high sticking on Jeff Petrie, you could see that the guy was remorseful. It was a very just super unfortunate penalty, but it very much was a penalty. The Habs looked really good on the ensuing power play. You saw a lot more movement, a lot more shuffling around, and unfortunately, there were still a few issues, like the fact that Jeff Petrie would never pass it to Cole Caulfield. That was getting on a lot of people's nerves, but still, it is what it is. We saw ourselves what was a competent Habs unit. Come the second period, though, this is where things really started to open up, as Christian Dvorak gets himself his first goal of the year, assisted by Sami Niku. Yeah, that's right, former Winnipeg Jet coming out here into the lineup. He sends one up, and Christian Dvorak kind of throws it to the goal. It bounces around, and it's really not good. He's trying to set up a guy in front on the rush, but it bounces off of Mark Stahl's skate and in, so that's 2 straight goals there where Mark Stahl is directly involved in a negative way for his team. Firstly, the Hoffman shot, he's screening the goaltender. Secondly, the Dvorak goal, it goes off of his skate and in. Then you give it a few more minutes, and Matthieu Perreault comes in and scores. The Red Wings are kind of shaky at this point. They're really starting to crumble down. Thomas Greiss lets in a wrister from the far face-off circle on the rush. Clean shot, no screen, whatever, and I looked at this and I was like, how come Greiss did not let in goals like that against Vancouver, man? How come he's letting them in against Montreal? Matthieu Perreault, of all people, gets a goal like that. Where was that goal from the Vancouver game? You give it 2 more minutes, and eventually it's Caulfield, Toffoli, and Perreault combining for another goal. This one was a Cole Caulfield chance to the side. Toffoli tries to center it back, and then it's Matthieu Perreault who gets it right in. Greiss is out, Nedeljkovic is in, and eventually the end of the game is sealed when Jeff Blashill pulls the goalie with 7 minutes left in the third period. Matthieu Perreault gets the natural hat trick, so already we talked about the Canadiens not being able to score any goals. Guess what? They've got goals, and they've got 6 of them in this game. They got more goals in this game against the Red Wings than they had in the entire rest of the season in 5 games worth of playing time. And not only that, but Drouin, the guy who was at the top of the score sheet initially, he got himself really involved in this one. An assist on the Chiarot goal starts everything off, and you noticed the impact that Drouin had the entire night. But going through the rest of the score sheet over here for the Red Wings, Seider with an assist, Larkin with the only goal. Those are the only 2-point producers for Detroit. For Montreal, you had yourselves Cole Caulfield with an assist, Dvorak a goal and an assist, Hoffman a goal, Toffoli an assist, Perreault with 3 goals, Drouin with an assist, Ben Chiarot with a goal and an assist, Sami Niku with 2 points on the assist there, and Savard with an assist as well. Jake Allen stops 26 of 27 with a .963 save percentage, and Thomas Greiss, who got pulled, had in 5 goals on 17 shots, .706 save percentage over here. And it really wasn't all too good of a performance here for Greiss. You could just kind of see the Red Wings crumbling down as the goals started coming and piling up on the board there. So definitely not the game you would have wanted out of the Red Wings, and you probably would have expected more heading into this game, trying to capitalize on a beaten, broken down, and vulnerable Canadiens team. But for the Habs, they exercised their demons over here. They finally beat the Goblin that they had been destroyed by the previous few years, and they beat their own seasonal demons in the process as well. So for Montreal, congrats, finally getting themselves a win here. Now the question is, where do you go from here? Canadiens fans were raving in my comment section about how they wanted Shane Wright and how they wanted the tank and how they wanted this and that. Low standings, high draft picks, the entire package over here. Do you still want that? Is that still the plan? Do you still want this team to lose more and more and more games? Or do you want to start winning again? Talk to me in the comments. What do you think about the Canadiens and what you think they should do or what you would want them to do? And if you're a Red Wings fan, let me know in the comments where things went wrong. I do think Rice just had a bad game tonight, and plus, there were a few other things that the Red Wings could have definitely ironed out, especially when the Canadiens got momentum. But let me know in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. Josh Wilson 99, and bye.